Hi everyone and welcome back. My name's Sue and today we are building our raised bed so that we can move all that soil over there. We took delivery of our wood last week and we made a start, but we did have visitors, so we're not quite as far ahead as we were hoping, and I am today waiting on delivery of some gravel, some topsoil to finish it off, and some bark mulch which we'll be using down in the woodland area later on. Doug started, as I say, last week and he built the basic framework. I have got the lovely job of putting some stuff in the bottom. So this is the completed raised bed framework. As you can see, he's done a fabulous job, but I will take you back and show you how we got to this point. There was a lot of head scratching, I have to say. The first job was to cut a post to 1.2 metres to use as a basic marker and to help lay out the baseboards and corner posts. Doug then moved some of the slabs and double-checked his measurements with a tape measure. As they say, measure twice, cut once. Having got the first post parallel to the old greenhouse, he could lay out all the sides, again using his trusty stick as a guide. After a little more head scratching, it was time to hammer in the temporary corner posts. These were literally to hold the planks in position whilst he was doing it single-handedly. Once happy with the positioning, it was time to bring in the proper boards. On advice from the wood merchant, we opted for 4.8 metre planks, which were C24 pressure-treated kiln-dried. The C24 refers to the quality of the wood in relation to grain and knots. You can also get C16s, which is often used for decking boards. Doug cut 1.2 metres off a 4.8 metre plank to use for the ends, leaving 3.6 metres for the shorter sides. It meant there was no room for error in cutting, of course. Bonnie and her friend Ava were sure to keep a beady eye on proceedings, if only to see if the coffee was going spare, but after a little site inspection they decided all was well. As you can see, Doug then positioned each lower level plank in line with the corner posts. The trusty stick was a simple but effective way to ensure that everything was aligned. As you can see, today we are starting the raised bed. And I say we, I mean the royal we, because Doug's doing it for me, thankfully. And it's huge. 4.8 by 4.8 in an L shape. And it's going 2 planks up, so it's going to be immense. We'll be able to shift all that soil from down the bottom over there into here. I'm not entirely sure I'm happy with our table being used as a workbench, but I was out with our friends, so I wasn't there to complain. Hey ho. He then cut the corner posts to a point to help make them easier to hammer in. The posts are then hammered in and checked with the spirit level. For reference, my husband is an engineer and a bit of a perfectionist, need I say more? This is our friend's dog, Ava, who's come to little visit for the weekend. That's why I'm not helping Doug, because we've got visitors. But yeah, so he's made some progress. He's got some stakes in, he's got the bottom row in, But yeah, doing well. Sun has just come out after another downpour, so we are literally dodging the showers, aren't we, Bonnie? So I'll take you along and show you what Doug's been up to. He has made some progress yesterday in between the showers, and we did have visitors this weekend, so it has been quite a busy time. So yeah, we've got some beautiful riven slabs that were upside down for some reason, not quite sure why. But yesterday Doug started on this and it's looking amazing. He's already on the second piece up on the end, so making great progress. If only it would stop raining long enough for us to get the wood cut. But it's much bigger than I anticipated, so I think we might not even have enough soil. I'll show you what we have got to play with, what we've got to move ready for the greenhouse. So we've got to shift this before it gets completely sodden, preferably. And this is where the new greenhouse is going to go. We're going back one slab, because that'll be the back side of the greenhouse, and then it'll face this way. And it comes to where these sticks are here, so this will be the end of the greenhouse, and it will stick out as far as the stick there and on that side too. And then this bit in front, and I think part of this bed has to go too, and we'll make a patio area with a table and chairs as well, and access into a double doors into the greenhouse, and potentially a little bench here, outside potting bench for when the weather's nice. Yeah, so that's the overall plan, but we have got to lift these slabs, get it all level. But the first thing to do is shift all this dirt. We've got all the bits of wood in position. They're not all screwed in quite yet, but it's massive. Absolutely enormous. The chap in the shop recommended these Velocity premium multi-screws, twist cut ones. Oh, it's just starting to rain again. There we go, all the sides are on. We've just got to cut the stakes down. It's all screwed together, looking lovely. Sun shining again for 5 minutes. Just giving Dad the appropriate amount of kisses for all his hard work. So she's 4 foot 3 inches or 1.2 meters wide, which is just the right width for you to be able to reach into the middle, I find, for me anyway. And she's 40 centimeters high or 16 inches in old money. And so that's going to hold a fair bit of soil. But first I am going to possibly treat with some tung oil, any sort of mineral oil to be fair, rather than put plastic against it and let it sweat. In the last video I did some pruning, so these I will shred them a bit more, but they can go in the bottom of the bed as well. Rather than putting plastic around the edge of the wood on the inside, I've gone for some oil. Now online it says you can use any sort of mineral oil, but it thoroughly recommends tung oil, and it is food safe, so food and toy safe for animals, 100% natural and non-toxic. It makes it water repellent, so in theory it should help protect the wood that's up against the soil. Just spotted that we dropped some screws while we were building, so I better get those out, eh? Don't want to waste them. These are the kind of screws we use to fix it all together, self-cutting ones. It does say if you're doing like some fancy furniture with it, like your dining table or something, that you can thin the first coat with 50% white spirit. But this isn't going to be a fancy sanded finish. It's literally to help it protect against moisture. Yes, can we help you? She is the nosiest dog I've ever had. It's not for doggies, off you go. Well, I'm not going to sit here for hours filming because it's akin to watching paint dry, eh? I will cut a little bit of the grass away and put some gravel around the edges of the boards on both sides as well. So that is oiled, believe it or not. It doesn't add any awful colour. This is a clear matte version, but it does take a little while to dry, so fingers crossed it doesn't pour with rain in the next hour. So I decided, rather than trying to hold the grass back, I would cut it out with the edging blade so I can get full access to the wood, and then I'm going to fill this with gravel anyway. It turns out those seedlings I transplanted a couple of weeks ago are indeed violas and not weeds, so that's very handy. Foxgloves have improved somewhat. And the figs are doing amazingly well, aren't they, Bonbon? They're looking good. Yeah. And that's my cup of tea, not yours, thank you. Everything's covered in a fine dew this morning. And whilst it looks beautiful, autumn is definitely on the way. What do we think, Bon? Is anything growing? The beetroot has done amazingly well. Look at all these new fresh leaves covered in morning dew. Aren't they beautiful? There may only be one uchikuri, but isn't she lovely? It's Sadly, the weather's taken its toll on the dahlias. They are looking a little bit bedraggled. And the cosmos is still going strong. There's a lot of buds on these still to come. Fortunately, all these lovely prunings will be able to go in the bottom of my raised bed. Oh, look at this big spider. Sorry if you're frightened of spiders. He's got a lot of little bugs there. Oh, he's quite active too, isn't he? Anyway, I've been using my council compost bin to make compost. So all of that can go in my raised bed too. I got Doug to wheel over my compost bin over because he very kindly finished oiling this for me at the weekend, and we've cut out the turf around the edges. I figured this bed was going to need more than the soil we have to fill it up, and I thought I'd go along the lines of using compostable materials in the bottom. Bit of hugelkultur. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's usually made with wood. Like, people often make raised beds with cut down trees or logs. Obviously, we've built a more traditional timber framed raised bed, but in the bottom I am going to be filling it with twigs, dead leaves, branches, compostable material, anything you've got, leaves, dead flowers. So I've been deadheading this week. We've had some truly awful weather in the last week, torrential rain and storms, but today is beautiful and I'm just so frustrated. I think I can see my lorry delivering my stuff. I was getting so frustrated that it hadn't arrived yet. So yeah, I better go and get that because I want it delivered over the back of the hedge if at all possible. Oh, well, that's super exciting because just as I was complaining that it hadn't arrived yet, I saw the crane on the back of the lorry going by. So yes, I have ordered 2 tons of topsoil, 2 tons of bark mulch for the woodland, and 1 ton of pea shingly gravel stuff because we're going to need it for drainage and the path around the greenhouse. Marvellous. It's down. Marvellous. How easy did he make that look, eh? It looks like really good stuff as well, and the topsoil looks fabulous, really friable. That'd be brilliant for growing vegetables in, and quite a lot of gravel. Once this raised bed is done, the woodland will be next. Right, I better get that gravel put down the edges of this woodwork, hey? I better go and get my wellies on and, yeah, get to it. Right, there we go. Gone all the way around the inside edge. I am going to go all the way around the outside as well, but I won't bore you with that. That'll come later, and it doesn't affect filling this up. And the only reason I'm going overboard on the edging of the gravel and stuff is because this area is prone to being quite wet in the winter. I'm not going to dig the turf up. I'm going to fork it to get some drainage holes in it because it's a bit compacted. And then I'm going to lay cardboard over the top. But first, I'm going to have some lunch. Actually, on my way to get my lunch, I may be scarlet in the face, but I just wanted to say that, ladies, I am an unfit, middle-aged woman going through the menopause who would probably have said, I can't do that, many times before. But you know what? You can. You just have to take it slow and easy, as long as you haven't got a really dodgy bad back. Mine's not the greatest. But if you go steady, do it in small doses, you may end up scarlet and sweltering, but it feels like a job well done. I'm really quite proud of myself this afternoon. How are my two beautiful girls this afternoon? Are we good? Are you ready to come and help me? Are you? Are you ready to come and help me? Yeah, come on then, let's go get some cardboard. Come on, this way. Right, lunch break over. It's time to go and find some cardboard. One thing I meant to mention is if you suffer with like moles, or depending on where in the world you are, gophers for instance, or moles or rats or anything like that, you can now put down a hardware cloth which would stop them burrowing underneath and coming up through your veg beds. So I don't have that problem here as far as I'm aware, so I'm not going to do that step. This shed is absolutely full of cardboard from our move here just over a month ago now. You do need to move the sticky tape on any staples or anything like that, because obviously they won't rot. Now that I've poked holes everywhere, it's time to lay some cardboard. And you do want it to overlap if at all possible. Right, there you go. All forked and all covered in cardboard. Now I just need to wet it. Why am I wetting it, you might ask? Well, if you've ever come across wet cardboard, you know it turns to a mushy pulp. And once it's soggy, it'll mat together. And if there's any gaps, you need to add a little bit more. You need it to be in contact with the grass. So as it goes soggy, it will stick down better. So there's a bit of a dimple here, so that needs to get mushy so that it'll fill in. There's no air pocket then. Squash it down. Do a bit of paddling. In the next video, we will be filling this up with hugelkultur, basically waste products, wood, garden waste, compost, whatever you've got to hand. And then we'll be topping it up with topsoil and planting. So join me next week to see how we get on. Bye for now.